우리는 리더를 키우는 대학이다. 네, 하버드 대학입니다. 이곳에는 오래된 속설이 있는데요. 설립자 존 하버드의 왼발을 만지면 합격한다는 것입니다. 그래서 동상 앞에는 늘 많은 사람들로 붐빕니다. 미국 최초의 대학이자 세계 최고의 대학으로 평가받는 곳이죠. 8명의 미국 대통령을 배출하고 가장 많은 노벨상 수상자를 배출한 하버드 대학교야말로 미국 교육의 저력을 보여주는 곳이라고 생각합니다. 무엇이 하버드를 세계 최고의 대학으로 만들고 있는지 그 숱한 궁금증과 질문에 대한 답을 지금부터 같이 찾아가 보겠습니다.
What is so special about Harvard system?
As you know, the U.S. is a very unequal society. Inequalities are magnified by the funding mechanism because the rich places get richer because their students get better education, and a better education leads to higher income. And the poor areas get poorer. The system is reinforced by the educational system. I mean, the universities can correct that to a point.
Oh, but does Harvard do that?
Yes, it tries to. It looks for students who come from disadvantaged. The most important instrument in addressing inequality, I think, is education.
미국 전역의 고등학교는 2만 7천여 개. 하지만 하버드 신입생 정원은 전교 1등을 해도 합격이 힘들죠. 하버드 2학년인 에단 후퍼는 그 좁은 관문을 통과한 학생입니다. 정말로 하버드 학생들은 머리가 좋은 천재인가요?
What a lot of people think is just like, oh, we're just super intelligent and the work comes easy. And it's really not the case. As like for all of us, like sleep deprived and working hard, but like the majority of the population are just people who worked extremely hard to get here. And like they may be intelligent, yes, but like the intelligence is matched, I think, with a greater work ethic and like a greater drive to succeed.
노력의 중요성은 누구나 알고 있지만 누구나 실천하지는 않습니다. 하버드는 대체 어떤 학생들을 어떻게 선발하는 걸까요? 하버드는 대부분의 학생들이 기숙사에서 생활하는데요. 에단과 친하게 지내는 친구들을 만났습니다. 인종도 고등학교까지 살았던 지역도 다르죠. 처음 입학한 순간은 지금도 기억이 생생합니다.
The first time I actually walked through the gates of Harvard was during the Admitted Students Weekend. So it was about a year ago during this time, so in the last week of April. I took a picture of myself in front of one of the buildings and then I sent it to my parents and I was like, I made it. And then it was a very heartfelt, emotional experience for sure.
Let me just check one point. Like all 4 of you came from the public high school. Your high school, like you're the first ever enter Harvard.
For my school, I was the first one to ever go to Harvard.
Yeah, same.
Oh, you too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like for all of us, like we were the first person in our family to come to college in general. So I guess to make it to Harvard is.
You mean first person in your family to come to college or come to Harvard?
Come to college in general. Any college.
College general.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
매년 하버드 지원자는 대략 6만 명. 그중 단 4% 내외의 학생들만 하버드에 입학합니다. 에단 학생이 합격할 수 있었던 비결은 무엇일까요?
So my SAT score, I got a 1430. But there's a lot of Harvard students here who have a perfect score, 1600. That's the first thing. It's the easiest thing to look at. Like, okay, what are their standard scores? A 1430 on an exam, but that doesn't tell me who they are, or how what they actually do with their time or anything like that. And I don't think that's what Harvard's looking for. Like, we want diversity within our leadership as well. So it's like, with that, you may not have this similar high score, but hey, are you leading with what you're given? And that's, I think, just as good as well.
미국 오리건주 작은 시골 마을에서 성장한 에단은 대외 활동도 크게 내세울 게 없었습니다. 그가 합격한 것은 하버드의 독특한 선발 방식에 있는데요.
I'm from a rural town who the median is very poor. People usually aren't very well off. So the expectations, Harvard takes that into account. So they ask they take into account your school, where you're from, the immediate income, the resources you had access to. So I think the most important thing is doing well with what you're given. So I ended up talking about how there was an assault that happened within my high school. And I talked about how it affected me because it kind of changed my mindset where I ended up hurting a lot of people. So I ended up I ended up helping them. I worked on some writing some new policies for assault perpetrators and survivors and kind of helping. So then my senior year, that's when I stepped into some leadership team, stepped into ASB, the student body president, stepped into some nonprofit roles. So in that way I could help change for the better. I'm going to use this negative event and I'm going to turn it positive. And I think that that growth is really what Harvard's looking for. It's okay.
하버드 기숙사에서 2년째 생활하고 있습니다. 하버드에는 여러 동의 기숙사가 있는데요. 학생들의 생활을 살피는 것은 하버드 교수들입니다.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you for joining us. Oh, see you. Yeah, it has been a long time for me to be here. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is David Labson. I'm a professor in the economics department here at Harvard. I have another role, which is very important in terms of the way I spend my time each day. I am the faculty dean of a residential community.
When you assign them, it's randomly assigned?
So it's not completely random. Students form a rooming group, and then the rooming group, which is typically small, it might be 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 students. And I think the secret sauce of this university for the college, for the undergraduate program, is this program of houses that contain 500 students each, where everyone is interacting, where we're eating together, where we're laughing together, where we're watching movies together, where we're talking and debating and discussing and disagreeing sometimes.
정치인 엘 고어, 영화배우 토미 리 존스. 두 사람은 하버드 기숙사 룸메이트였죠. 다른 성향의 학생을 조합해 서로의 다름을 배우게 하는 것. 이것이 하버드가 리더를 키우는 방법입니다. 헐리우드의 대표 배우로, 노벨 평화상 수상자로 두 사람은 미국 사회의 리더가 됐습니다.
Different backgrounds, different lived experiences, different interests, different insights is very, very important. Where the leader may not come from the most elite environment, because it's hard to know who the leaders are going to be.